Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today I wanted to react to this just because it's kind of different. And I want to just look at it. She's talking about the fitness industry in general. I have not reacted to this type of content in a minute. I think for me, I was really focusing on my own journey a lot over the past, couple months, or honestly, the past few months at this point, like since around September going into October. It's been tough to do my vanity weight era. It's been a lot of discipline, and then the reverse dieting process has been a lot. But I'm almost done. I am going to be done on the 18th. That's officially like the last day I go up, and that's when I'm done, basically. I just have to adjust probably like a week after that, but it's going to be finally over. So I just want to look at what she says. Having experienced a journey at this level, I want to hear some of the criticisms, and then see if I agree or disagree. I think for me, a lot of my thoughts on the fitness industry, especially on Instagram, that's where I really looked at it. There is a lot of scammy stuff. There's a lot of flop activity, there's a lot of stuff that is just terrible. And I'm not saying that I'm like a fitness influencer or whatever. I'm not. As you guys know, I'm an activist, so I don't even really push for people to do a vanity weight era or to do that kind of thing. But I do think it was so important activistically for me to experience it, because a lot of people do want to accomplish that and do want to take part in that. So I'm glad that I experienced what it's like to lose weight when you're not overweight. It is a very different experience from other phases. So I'm glad I did it, because it gave me a lot of perspective on a lot of these people. And I don't feel afraid to call out certain things, or I'm not going to be calling out certain things without any kind of understanding of where it's coming from. Like perhaps in previous eras, like I have enough proximity where I can understand like the fitness influencer person better. I understand it better. There's a lot of things I didn't get, and then I did this and I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, for example, why they're suddenly all so philosophical all the time. I totally understood it, because it affects you differently when you're not overweight, like a deficit does, I mean. So it makes sense why they're always talking like that. I never understood that. However, people lie a lot. The toxic ritualistic, especially the reductive side, it does exist within fitness Instagram. There are a lot of lies, and there's a lot of gatekeeping. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of sabotage. So people will say things that will undermine your progress to keep you as a client longer. So it really is like looking for a car repairman, you have to be very scrutinizing, because there's a lot of BS out there. So let's go ahead and look at this, and I want to see what she says.
When it comes to fitness, most of us have been sold a nice little polished lie. We have been taught that six-pack abs equates health, that lifting heavier means progress, that looking fit means being capable. But
okay, so I need to see where she's going with that, but I don't necessarily disagree with those things on their face value. I do think that having a six-pack can be a sign of just being very lean, which you can be unhealthfully lean too. Lifting heavier, I do think is a sign of progress. So she's going to have to explain that to me. But yeah, that's what I caught. I just watched that very beginning, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. Okay.
the thing that's really not discussed in fitness, and the thing that nobody really wants to hear, is that mainstream fitness is actually keeping most of you fragile, weak, and dependent. It is training you to break, not to thrive. It is turning you into a specialist machine that looks good and impressive on the outside, but really can't handle much stress on the inside. And the worst part is you think you are winning because you look good in the mirror. You think you are healthy because you hit your macros. You think you've achieved your goals because you've dropped the number on the scale. You think you're strong because you can bench press your body weight. But you cannot do simple human movements like hang from a bar for 60 seconds, sit down into a deep squat without wincing in pain, get up and down off the floor without using your hands. You can't even run for your life if you had to. You can't even move without pain. You don't have the ability to express yourself freely through space. Most of you don't. And that's really not your fault, because you've been lied to by an industry that profits from your dependence, that needs you injured, confused, and always chasing the next program, the next supplement, the next solution. I guess this episode isn't for everyone. It's not for people who want to be comfortable. It's not for people who want validation. It's not for people who just want to look good for the mirror.
So I have seen a lot of fitness influencers on Instagram, and I mean a lot. They will literally say, no one cares about if you're strong. It doesn't matter if you're strong. All that matters is how you look. I've seen that take far too many times. It's very, very common, which, I mean, basing too much of a fitness journey on approval or on how other people view you, it is toxic ritualistic. It is, to its core. It is a toxic ritualistic foundation. That's the best way I could put it. Because I always advocated during this era to be your own standard, to create your own standard. You are the one that has to maintain it. So you need to create your own standard for yourself. Don't be looking at what other people are doing. And a lot of people, they look at what you're doing. I've had some of you guys, like a very small minority, have gotten really extra over the past couple weeks. You guys are really trying to piss me off, honestly, because you're competing with me. I've had somebody tell me, they're like, well, you're competitive. And I'm like, I'm not. Just because I'm not a pushover or a pussy, at least not in every way. I mean, there are some ways where I kind of am, or there's a lot of people that are way stronger than I am. It doesn't mean that I am competitive. It just means that I will push back. It's like, I think a lot of people are just, I don't know. They're very weak and spineless. I don't know. And I just can't coddle people like that. I just can't. I'm not, you know, I don't know. It's not going to happen here. I've told you guys that many times. I don't know why I'm talking weird. I told you guys that many times, that I was never going to reinforce the TR. I'm never going to coddle or anything. Like, I'm an activist. I'm not here to, I'm not an ASM artist, right? I'm an activist. It's like, I'm going to say things sometimes, and I'm not going to be scared of my ideas. I'm not going to be scared of what I say. Like, I don't know. People are weird. Like, they're very extra about any kind of confidence. But I'm just saying, let's say you are a person that I am advocating for, or that I am activistically speaking to, who is sane and normal, or aspiring to be sane and normal about the issue of vanity weight. What I'm telling you is, be aware that people will become competitive with you. Even if you're not being competitive, people will project competition onto you, even if you're not. I'm not competitive. I've never cared if somebody ate a lot on Thanksgiving, for example, or Christmas, or even the whole season. I don't really care. It's not my business. Especially if you're within a healthy weight range. Like, what the hell do I care? Honestly, I don't care as an activist, but I told y'all when I started this, I was going to hold myself to an above average standard. So I've done that this autumn. It's hard. I've even complained about it. I don't put on a brave face. I don't do any of that because I'm not being competitive. Somebody who's being competitive, they would be like, I feel amazing, even if they don't. That's a competitive person. I'm not competitive. I say the truth. I'm uncomfortable. This is annoying. I hate this. This is awful. Wow, this really sucks. How many times have I said that the whole time? I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I'm struggling with anemia. I'm this. I'm that. I've been very clear. If I was competitive, I wouldn't have done any of that. A competitive person doesn't do that. They don't show weakness during this process. So you guys don't even understand what a competitive person is. You know, at least the peanut gallery that is so extra and just, I don't even know. Like I said, I don't know if you think your words are going to change anything. You guys are pathetic if you think that still at this point. You know, especially if you've been watching for years, you know how I am. I'm not going to change because of an internet comment. Like, let's be so real. As an activist, I stand for people that want to do these things, that are not as brave or not able to stand in the face of criticism as much as I can. That's what I do. I'm here to help motivate and encourage you guys who want to do this. And if you want to pursue vanity weight, I completely support you. I do. I don't feel threatened by it. I don't feel competitive with you. I don't feel any of that. Why would I? I don't feel insecure. I've never felt insecure during this era. I did I'll even tell you, I felt super insecure when I was mid-size. I've told you guys that. I don't feel insecure now. So where I've been irritated is with fitness influencers that do peddle lies. Even from a dietary perspective, I've seen them encourage things that make people hungrier. I've seen it a lot. For example, they talk about oats. Oats are huge. Oats are good for bulking. I'm going to say it, and people get pissed, and there's going to be somebody, I like oats, and oats help me lose weight. Honey, if you're coming from a long haul weight loss, if you're trying to lose weight and not being hungry, oats do not have enough nutrition for the calories. They just don't. They're also not a quick source of energy. It would be better to have pure sugar than oats, because at least the sugar is stimulating, and it will give you energy for a workout. Oats will not. It's just so overglorified. And again, I'm not here to police anybody who's eating oats, but as a fitness influencer, it's odd to me that basically bulking filler food is so heavily promoted, or that the idea of eating a protein oat birthday cake flavored protein powder in your oatmeal is elevated over eating a steak or actual meat. It's just odd. It's odd to me. And they'll say, well, it's because of the calories. And it's like, sure, I understand that. But a lot of these fitness influencers, they're not even cutting anymore. And they're still doing that. Why are you doing that on a bulk? Why are you doing that at maintenance? It's odd. You know, it's just odd to me. And sorry for having questions, but it's odd. Like, when do we start eating real food again? When does diet culture end? And I think for a lot of people, the answer is never. And a lot of times they'll feel a pressure to keep eating that way because they're worried about their audience and stuff like that. I've never really talked about what I eat that often because I want you to do what works. And I understand that it's different for different people. So I was never going to paint like I was never going to do like a one size fits all thing. But if you're going to act like protein powders are superior to actual meat, you are sorely mistaken. What's one thing that's in meat that is not in a protein powder? Non-heme iron. Heme iron. I got it mixed up. Which a lot of people need heme iron in order to have proper iron levels. A lot of people cannot absorb non-heme iron very well. And iron deficiency is incredibly common. And particularly, I would say in a fitness space, it's incredibly common. I see it all the time. I see so many guys that never have any iron at all. And then they drink a lot and stuff. And I'm like, you guys are on a pathway to anemia. It's just odd. And I don't know. I have a lot of questions too. I guess I have a lot to say.
I want you to understand that this is like a rebellion. against the fitness industry. It's for the ones who want to wake up, break free, and move like they were born to move. I'm passionate about this because I've seen the damage that it has caused, and I was one of them. So why do I say that mainstream fitness wants you exhausted, dependent, and sold on the next fix? Because it only teaches you to chase numbers and aesthetic goals instead
Yes.
of capacity. How much can you bench? How much can you squat? How much can you deadlift? How fast can you run? How long can you go? As if those things and those movements define your worth as a human being. As if being able to lift heavy weight in a controlled gym environment means that you are capable in real life. The thing that they don't want to tell you because they either don't know or they don't care is that strength without mobility is dysfunction. Power without control is an injury waiting to happen. Numbers without context are just ego feeding. Because you've probably met guys and girls who can deadlift 500 pounds but can't touch their own toes. You've seen people who can bench press 300 pounds but they can't scratch their own back. Their shoulders are destroyed. There's people with massive legs who cannot sit in a deep squat for 30 seconds. Are they strong? Sure, they might be in one specific movement pattern. Are they capable? Definitely not. Because the second that you take them out of that controlled environment, the second that you ask them to move out of alignment, to move dynamically, to adapt, to handle, to look for the unexpected, mostly they break down. And that's by design. Because most things in fitness, they don't want you to be capable. They want you dependent. Dependent on programs, dependent on coaches, dependent on equipment, dependent on machines, dependent on supplements, gyms, you name it. And if you become truly resilient, if you build a body that can handle anything life throws at you, if you build a body that is resilient and robust and adaptable, well then you don't need them anymore. And that's bad for business. And here's what mainstream fitness actually trains you to do. It trains you to lift up and down side to side, but not to move out of alignment. It trains you to push weight overhead, but it doesn't train you to catch yourself when you fall. It trains you to leg press 400 pounds, but it doesn't train you to jump and land without your knees collapsing. It trains you to squat, but it doesn't train you to rest. It basically doesn't train you to move like a human being should move. And most of you can't, because you have trained the movement, not the positions. You've trained the exercise, but not the human capability. You've trained to contract, but never expand, never relax. Everything is about tension. Squeeze this, flex that, contract harder, go more, do better. But where is the actual expansion? Where is the breath? Where is the relaxation? Where is learning, coordination, balance, control, proprioception? You're building a body that's constantly braced, constantly tight, constantly defensive. And then you wonder why you are in pain, why you are stiff, why you can't relax, why you can't touch your toes. So this is not about being shredded or being fit. I'm not saying that aesthetics don't matter. I'm just saying that you shouldn't care about how you look, because how you look is a byproduct of what you do. If aesthetics are your only goal, if looking good is more important to you than being capable, then you've already lost. And if you haven't figured it out by now, it will catch up to you. Looking fit and being fit are two completely different things. So this is about being resilient. You need to have a body that can...
I completely agree with that. Like I said, I see it mostly from a diet perspective a lot of the time, because I've seen, again, especially since I realized and I've taken care of my anemia, I can see a lot of fitness influencers are visibly anemic, because they never have any iron. They just don't. They're just, it blows my mind. And it's like, or they'll push for things that you could never do if you were actually fat. Like you would be starving with the food that they're telling you to eat. Like it blew my mind. It just blew my mind, some of the stuff that I've heard on there. So, and that's just from a dieting perspective. She's looking at it more from the movement perspective, which I appreciate because I plan on going further into that next year. And I do want my recomp era to be more about more than aesthetics. I think for me, the focus of the next era, it has to do with confidence. And confidence is not just about aesthetic. Confidence is also about capability. Like she said, it's about being able to move my body in a way. I want it to be more kinetic. So I actually appreciate her perspective because it's reminding me of what I care about going into the next era. It's a rebuilding era, you know, it's different than a weight loss era. So I do care about it aesthetically, but I also, like, I want to do more cardio training. I want to, you know, test certain limits or be able to run, you know, and not have to be so careful all the time. Like, I've had to be careful with things like that for the sake of my joints or thyroid health or whatever else as I've been downsizing, because when you're in a deficit, it is stressful to the body. So I've had to be kind of delicate in order to continue, especially to continue as long, as deep, and as difficultly as I have. So now that I'm going to be getting out of that to stay, I can really, you know, do things, isolate muscle groups, do things in proper form. One thing that I'm going to do is I'm not going to use machines. I'm going to use free weights. All of it. I'm going completely free weight, which I think will help with some of what she's saying, where it's like you are a bit more dynamic. Because I want that, you know, I just do. And I want to do other physical positions. I want to do what she's saying, basically. So that's interesting. I didn't even realize she was going to go there.
Can run, that can jump, crawl, hang, squat, twist, fall, get back up and live pain-free for decades, for the rest of your life. You need a body that can handle stress without breaking down.
Yeah.
You need a nervous system that can adapt to the unexpected. You need to be a human being who is robust, not fragile. And here's a controversial truth. Most people in the fitness industry are fragile as hell. They look great, they post impressive lifts, they take cool Instagram photos, they have the aesthetics, but behind the scenes, they are broken. They're injured, they're in pain, they are not capable, they are not...
They're really, really, really tired. I see a lot of tiredness in them. A lot. Or like they don't actually work a real job, or their lifestyle is very like... I don't know, like I've seen so many fitness influencers move to Dubai, for example. It's strange. It's like, why you suddenly can't tolerate the winter anymore? You know, they have to move somewhere there. And I know that there's probably like tax reasons and stuff, but they also cannot tolerate winter. Like being able to tolerate winter is something that I want to be able to do. I don't want to just be like, oh my gosh, I hate the winter every year. I'm over that. You know, I still am struggling this year with it. But to me, that's not robust. Not having the ability to tolerate winter is not robust. That's not strong. I want to be stronger. You know, I don't want to be delicate forever. I don't, at least not in that way. It's like, I definitely want more than aesthetics, 100%. And a lot of those fitness people, they have to move somewhere where it's hot all the time. Like they can't, I notice this shit. I notice it. You know, and to me, it's like, I know that that's hypothyroidism. I know exactly what that is. You know? And I want us to do better, especially people who are, you know, like me, like an activist, or people who are, actually in the fitness industry. Like, why can't we level up and actually teach people to be more strong or more robust, or to care about the things that matter, you know, and encourage people who can to do the best they can, and not just have it be all about aesthetics. I agree with her.
Resilient, they are not robust. They are dependent on painkillers, physical therapy, rehab, and they've sacrificed function for appearance. They have sacrificed longevity for short-term results. They have sacrificed being human for looking like a magazine cover model. So today, let's burn the rule book. We're going to talk about what real fitness looks like. The raw, the primal, the intelligent, and the adaptable kind. And we are going to walk through the traps that are keeping you small, weak, and broken, even if you look fit on the outside. Because this is the movement rebellion, and it starts with telling the truth. Let me break down the 3 traps that mainstream fitness uses to keep you dependent, broken, and chasing your own tail. The first trap is the aesthetics trap. You walk into a gym today and what do you see? Mirrors everywhere. Selfie culture, people flexing between sets. I cringe when I walk in there and I look, guys lifting up their shirts, flexing, looking at the biceps. The entire environment is designed to make you obsess over how you look. And here's what happens. You start training for the mirror, not for life. You start prioritizing muscles that look good over movements that matter. You do endless bicep curls, endless chest presses because big arms look impressive. You do cable flies because chest definition sells. You do crunches because abs are the ultimate status symbol. But let me tell you why this is a problem. None of that translates to real-world capability. Bicep curls don't help you carry groceries, climb a tree, or hang from a ledge. Cable flies don't help you push a car, throw a punch, or catch yourself when you fall. Crunches don't build core stability. They just train one small piece of a complex system. Real aesthetics come from real movement. You want to look good? Move well. Train your body to be capable and aesthetics will follow. The leanness comes from moving often and eating well. The muscle definition comes from functional strength. The posture comes from balance and awareness. But when all you do is chase aesthetics first, when you prioritize appearance over function, you end up with a body that looks good but performs terribly. And eventually, it will break. I see this all the time. Guys with huge arms who can't do a single pull-up. Women with amazing glutes who can't even walk barefoot without pain. Bodybuilders who look like Greek gods but move like rusty old tin men. Because they've been training muscles, not movements. They've been building parts, not systems. And the body does not work in parts. It works as a whole unit. Trap number 2, the specialization trap. And here's what the fitness industry has taught you. Pick a lane. Are you a powerlifter? Are you a bodybuilder? Are you a CrossFitter? A yogi? A runner? Choose your identity and stay in your box. Not only in fitness, but also in professional sport. But you do realize that specialization makes you fragile. When you only train one way, when you only move in a specific pattern, you are creating...
Yeah, so that's why I was talking about I want to do cardio and stuff more in the next year, because I agree with that. I think that comes from probably more of like a social media algorithm, which is odd to base like your physical like shape on an algorithm. I think that is so bizarre. I think that is such an interesting concept to talk about, and I will definitely be talking about that next year. But again, I don't plan on doing that. So I think it's so important to, again, not just look at aesthetics, but also look at confidence in general. Confidence in your body is so important, and it's something that I've never experienced, and that's what I want to earn in that next era.
Massive imbalances. Powerlifters get strong in 3 lifts and lose mobility everywhere else. Bodybuilders build muscle but lose coordination and athleticism. CrossFitters push intensity but sacrifice joint health and longevity. Yogis gain flexibility but often lack strength and power. Runners build endurance but their bodies can't handle multi-directional movement. None of these are wrong, but when you only do one, when you specialize to the exclusion of everything else, you become one-dimensional, and as a result, you become really good at one thing and incapable at everything else.
You're not
That's
a
so
child,
interesting.
you're a man, so stop wearing so many...
I don't know what that ad was. Okay.
Life doesn't care about your specialty. Life is chaotic, multi-directional, unpredictable. So is sport. You need to be able to lift and run and jump and crawl and hang and balance and coordinate yourself. You need strength and you need mobility, and you also need endurance, and you need coordination, and you need power and agility. And that's what humans are designed for. We are not specialists, we are generalists. We are made to adapt to anything, to hunt, to gather, to climb, to swim, to fight, to flee, to play. You are so much more capable than you give yourself credit for. But the fitness industry convinces convinced you that generalists are average, that if you're not specialized, you're not serious, that if you're not competing in something, you're just messing around. And that's bullshit. Because the best competition you can have is competition against yourself.
Yes.
Being a generalist, being capable across multiple domains, that's the ultimate strength. That is what makes you anti-fragile. And that's also what lets you handle whatever life throws at you. So you need to stop picking a lane. You need to train everything. Trap 3, the intensity trap. You know the saying, no pain, no gain. Go hard or go home. Push through the burn. Leave it all on the floor. This is the mantra of mainstream fitness, and it is destroying you. Because here's what you don't notice. Intensity is not the same as effectiveness. Exhaustion is not the same as progress. Soreness is not the same as growth. You have been conditioned to believe that if you're not suffering, if you're not working hard enough, if you're not breaking yourself down to the point that you can't walk out of the gym, that if you are not drenched in sweat, destroyed, barely able to walk, you didn't really train. But intensity without awareness is just chaos. It's not building you up. It is breaking you down slowly. And eventually it is going to break.
So I've always, throughout my downsizing journey, I've always advocated against intensity, honestly, because it's very stressful on the thyroid. So especially if you're obese or higher, especially class 2 and class 3, I would literally be like, please do not be out of breath ever. Even obesity, I wouldn't suggest it, honestly. I think when you get below obesity, then it's a little bit easier. And if you want to, I'm not going to stop you kind of thing. But you have to I agree with her. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I had done intensity all the time. It would have made me way more hungry, way more exhausted. I would have had such a bad result thyroid-wise. I mean, so many in the fitness industry overtrain. And a lot of people in the fitness industry are also hypothyroid, which is not talked about enough because they overtrain, they don't eat proper nutrition, they don't sleep enough, and then they can't handle the winter. So they all have to move to Dubai because they can't handle it anymore because you're too hypo or you're too anemic. Which again, she's not even bringing that up, but I think iron deficient anemia is basically normalized in the fitness industry. It's like the standard almost, because what they tell you to eat, it's just not giving. It just isn't. Need I bring back the example of the birthday cake protein oats? That doesn't have any iron in it.
Break you down completely. I see it constantly. I was one of those people, training at maximum intensity 6 days a week, never recovering, never adapting, never listening to their body. No. Just pushing, because that is what discipline looks like, and that is what gets me results. And then they're shocked when their hormones crash.
So where the discipline has to come through is through the diet. That's where it really matters, because specifically your caloric intake, that's where there's discipline. So when I talked about the vanity weight era a lot, it had to do with discipline, because it has to do with being able to stick to what you said from a diet perspective, which is very real. So that's different. But it's also about doing something that is healthful, sustainable, etc. Again, I started taking iron. I take zinc as well. I've really had to take those two quite a bit in this era. I have to really replenish my body because I've been downsizing for years. So I really have a lot of work to do. The work is not, I wouldn't say it's just beginning, but it goes on. There's different goals that come in. There's different health goals that come through. And for me, getting my nutrition stars back up is major. Having plenty of vitamin A, for example, all those things. And, people can be mad about it, but I'm an animal product girly pop. I think animal sources are superior. I just do. So if that pisses you off, that's fine. That we can disagree, but I think it does better. I think animal vitamin A is superior. I think heme iron is superior. It's just easier to digest, especially if you have downsized forever. It's so much more bioavailable. And it's like people don't talk about that stuff at all in the fitness industry. They just don't. It's like irrelevant. And I'm like, not even every supplement is equal either. Like, you have to look at all the details of this stuff. But when we talk about the discipline, I talk about the diet discipline, like me taking the iron pill isolated in the morning before I've eaten, and then I have to wait 2 hours before I eat something. That's how you actually get out of anemia. You have to wait 2 hours before you can eat something that conflicts with that iron. That's discipline. Is it a pain in the ass? Yeah, it is. I've hated it the whole time, but I've gotten better because I took that discipline. I took that initiative. So when we talk about discipline, I think it needs to be focused more on the diet rather than just the exercise. I do think the exercise and the workouts, they do, of course, matter. I think the discipline of showing up to the gym matters. But I agree that the intensity and a lack of rest, that's not necessarily helpful. Especially in maintenance, you're not going to lose muscle that fast. It doesn't go away that fast. So people are paranoid. So you just have to understand, it's harder to build muscle for sure. Like, I do plan on going to the gym more days a week in the next era, but I'm going to be going a lot shorter. They're going to be shorter sessions because I'm going to be focusing on specific workouts. And then I might do other stuff like cardio and things like that are just kind of different, that are not weightlifting. But I do plan on spending plenty of time at the gym. But I'm just saying it's different rather than doing full body like I've been doing.
When they burn out mentally and physically, when they don't want to train at all, when they wake up one day and realize that they hate their own life. Because you've been taught that more is better, more volume, more intensity, more frequency. But the truth is, you don't need more. You need better and you need different. It's not about going harder, it's about going smarter. There is no reason to destroy yourself because you need to build yourself. There is no reason to punish yourself because you need to nourish yourself. Real training is intelligent. Some days you go hard, some days you go easy. Some days you push, some days you explore. Some days you lift heavy, and other times you just move. Because progress is not linear. Adaptation is not constant. Your body needs stimulus and it needs recovery. It needs challenge and it needs rest. It needs intensity and awareness. But the fitness industry can't sell you, listen to your body. They can't sell you, move intuitively. They can't sell you, do less, because that doesn't create dependence. That creates freedom. And free people don't buy programs. So let me tell you what real training does look like. If mainstream fitness is a lie, if the aesthetics trap, the specialization trap, and the intensity trap are all keeping you weak, what does real training actually look like? So let me paint you a picture. Real training is a part of life. It is primal. It is built on movements that humans have done for thousands of years. The crawling, the hanging, the squatting, jumping, climbing, wrestling, carrying, throwing. Not bicep curls, not leg extensions, not chest presses, but fundamental human movement patterns that your body was designed to do. When you train these movements, when you build capacity in these patterns, everything else will fall into place. You will get strong, you will get mobile, you will become coordinated, you will build a body that can handle real life. Because real training is full range, not partial reps, not shortened ranges because you are trying to lift heavier. Real training is about full, complete, controlled ranges of motion. Can you overhead press with your arms fully locked out? Can you do it while squatting? Can you squat ass to grass with your heels on the ground? Can you move along the floor, crawl, coordinate patterns, hang with your shoulders fully relaxed and decompressed? Can you rotate your spine through its full range? Most people cannot do that because they have been training in shortened ranges for so long. They've lost access to full movements. They don't even know that their body is actually capable of doing these things. And when you lose your range, you lose your resilience. Your joints get stiff, your tissues get tight, your movement vocabulary shrinks into nothing. Real movement training is adaptable. It's not the same workout every time. It's not following a rigid program that doesn't account for how you feel today, how you slept, what you have going on. Some days you'll be energized, you're going to train hard. Some days you're tired, you're going to train light. Some days you will be sore and then you're going to explore mobility. Some days you will be stressed and you have to move to regulate your nervous system. Because your body is not a machine that performs the same way every single time, and you cannot expect that of yourself. Your body is a living system that needs to adapt. And when you train adaptively, when you listen, and when you respond instead of just following orders, you build real intelligence, physical intelligence, body awareness, intuition. Real training prioritizes longevity over intensity. It asks, can I do this for the rest of my life? If not, can I do this for 12 weeks until I hit my goal? Because what is the point of getting shredded for summer if you destroy your joints in the process? What is the point of hitting a PR if you are injured for 6 months after that? What is the point of looking fit at 30 if you can't move without pain at 50? Real training is sustainable. It builds you up over the years and decades, not weeks and months. It makes you better at 40 than you were at 20. Better at 60 than you were at 30, and better at 80 than most people are at 40. And here's what that actually looks like in practice. Every single day you move, not work out, you move. You make movement a part of your daily life. 5 minutes on the floor, crawling, rolling, exploring positions, hanging from a bar every time you pass it, even if it's just for 10 seconds, daily, not for reps, just sitting in a squat position, breathing, exploring depth, walking barefoot, reconnecting your feet to the ground, balancing on one leg, eyes closed, building stability. That's just your baseline. That is your daily minimum. That is integrated movement into everything that you do. And then a few times a week, you go deeper. You go and train correctly. You train the strength, you train the real strength, the pushing, the pulling, the carrying, the lifting, things that matter to be strong and to have resilient joints. But you have to do this with full ranges, with control, with awareness. You train power, jumping, sprinting, explosive movement. It's all about control, awareness, and a respect to your practice. And then you can take these attributes and you can go hiking, you can go swimming, cycling, dancing, playing. Because aesthetics will be a byproduct, not the goal. When you move well, you look good automatically. Your posture improves because your body is balanced. Your muscle definition shows because you are using your body functionally. Your leanness comes because you are moving often and eating to fuel performance, not starve for aesthetics. You don't chase the six-pack, you earn it by being capable. Injury prevention becomes a foundation, not a reactive band-aid. You're not waiting until you get hurt to address mobility.
Yeah, I've always been so... Oh my gosh, I've been like, do not get injured because, oh my gosh, especially when you're very big, it's like, oh my God, do not get injured. I think that I really like what she's saying. I think that a lot of what she's saying has helped me downsize. So I agree with her because I think overall what you're looking for is sustainability, and you're looking for something that helps your journey within downsizing. And then for me, like I want to definitely explore a lot of that stuff. I am still going to do those strength training sessions for sure, but they're shorter and I can do other stuff throughout the day. It's not like I have to lay down in bed the rest of the day after my hour workout, And I think for me, like I need to be active. I think I'm just an active person. Like I feel restless, and I think it might help me feel less restless to be doing more movements, basically. Whereas I've been so precise and so like on point to get to this point physically, to lose the weight, to do that. I've had to be so on the wire all the time. I don't really have to anymore, especially going into next year. I'm still kind of delicate right now, so I don't really want to shift everything around because it's still a struggle at this moment, but it won't be next year. And it's definitely something to consider and think about.
You're not ignoring pain until it becomes unbearable.
Right.
You are building resilience daily, strengthening weak links before they break, mobilizing stiff joints before they lock up, listening to feedback before it becomes injury. That is real training. That is training with intent. It might not be sexy, it might not be trendy or flashy, but it is sustainable. It's intelligent, it is effective, and it works for decades. So here's what you need to understand if you are going to join this rebellion. You are not a body part. You are a system, a very complex system at that. So stop thinking about chest day, leg day, arm day, back day. Your body doesn't move in parts, it moves as a whole unit. When you pick up something off the ground, everything works together. Your legs drive, your hips hinge, your core stabilizes, your back extends, your shoulders engage, your grip holds. That's how humans move. So you must train that way. Train integrated movements, train full body patterns, train systems, not parts. You don't need trends, you need truth. Every year, there's a new fitness trend. The HIIT, the keto, the fasting, the biohacking, the cold plunges, the red light therapy, and some of it works, some of it is beneficial. But none of it matters if you do not have the basics, the foundations, if movement is not your primary source of medicine, if you can't squat, if you can't hang, if you can't move without pain. So you need to stop chasing these trends and you need to master the fundamentals, the movements that humans have done for thousands of years. These things are never going to change. These don't go out of style. These work forever and you need to be doing them. Remember, you don't need more, you need different. You don't need more volume, you don't need more intensity, you do not need more programs. You definitely don't need to suffer paralysis by analysis. What you need is to move differently. You need to explore ranges that you have been avoiding, ranges that make you uncomfortable, that might make you embarrassed. You need to challenge patterns that you have been neglecting for decades. More does not build capability, different does. Because this is a lifestyle, not a phase. You cannot rebel for 12 weeks and then go back to the system. This is not a program, this is not a quick fix, this is not even a challenge. This isn't a goal you hit and move on from. This is a complete shift in how you relate to your body, how you understand your body, how you show up for yourself. You stop working out and you start practicing. You stop chasing aesthetics and you start building capability. You stop following trends and you start following your own truth. And once you make that shift, once you truly understand what real fitness is, you can never go back. Because now you've seen through the lies and you refuse to be weak any longer. So here's how we actually do this. Here is how you're going to break free from the mainstream fitness and start building real capability. Step 1, ditch the BS routines. Stop following programs designed to make you dependent. Stop doing workouts that prioritize aesthetics over function. Stop training body parts in isolation. Start training movements. Start training systems. Start training out of alignment and start training for life. Step 2, build your daily practice. Every single day, no matter what, you move. Doesn't matter how you feel, how you slept, or which way the wind is blowing. 5 to 10 minutes minimum. Floor work, hanging, squatting, walking barefoot, balancing. Non-negotiables, no excuses. This is your baseline. This is your foundation. This is your anchor that you always return to. That's where we start from. Step 3, train full ranges. If you can't access a full range of motion, you don't own that movement. Work on your mobility, work on your control, work on your awareness, your proprioception. Get your squat deeper, get your hang longer, get your overhead reach higher. Try some handstands, try some crawling patterns. Full ranges equals full capability. Step 4, prioritize longevity. Ask yourself with every training decision, can I do this for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, it's not sustainable. If it's destroying your joints, if it's burning you out, if it is making you dependent on recovery tools just to function, it is not real training. Find what builds you up over decades, not breaks you down over weeks. Step 5, become a generalist. Train everything, the strength, the mobility, the endurance, the power, coordination, balance. Do not specialize. Don't pick a lane, don't get attached to anything. Be capable across all domains. That is what makes you anti-fragile. That is what makes you a weaponized human. Strong, mobile, capable, and resilient. You are ready for anything. So let me give you a little challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to rebel. Day 1, ditch your normal workout. Spend 20 minutes on the floor, crawling, rolling, exploring your body. No plan, just move. Day 2, hang from something. A bar, a tree, a door frame. Every hour, hang for as long as you can. Build up to 60 seconds total throughout the day. Day 3, deep squat. Sit in it, hold it, breathe in it. Work up to 5 minutes total in a day. It doesn't have to be all at once, it can be accumulated. Day 4, walk barefoot. 20 minutes, feel the ground, let your feet wake up, see how that feels. Day 5, train full ranges. Whatever movements you decide to do, make sure that you own the complete range. No shortcuts, no partial reps, no excuses. Day 6, move for life. Go outside, climb something, jump over something, crawl under something, play like a kid again. And day 7, have a rest, but active rest. Stretch, breathe, move gently, let your body adapt. 7 days, 7 challenges. And if you do this, if you actually commit to moving like a human with awareness instead of training like a machine, something will shift in you. You will start to feel capable again, and you will start to search for more because you will start to move without pain. You'll start to realize that you have been sold a lie your entire fitness career. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the movement rebellion. I want all of you to become anti-fragile, and I want you to refuse to be weak. I'm Vanya, and this is the Making Moves podcast.
That's interesting. Definitely food for thought. Let me know what you guys think about it. Like I said, I know for me, I am going to be focusing on some aesthetics, but I'm going to definitely be doing multiple types of training. I think after watching that, I'm like, because I was feeling that anyways. And I think being a generalist, I definitely want to do that. So I think I'm going to do different types of workouts too, because my strength training, it's just going to be pretty short. You know, it's going to be like 45 minutes or whatever. So I could do something else for like 30 minutes or something, or even 20 or whatever. It doesn't even have to be that long. But it's interesting food for thought. You know, I definitely want to reinvent what I've been doing next year. So let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.